What I want to talk about today is something extremely infuriating, so if you're in a good mood right now, I tell you, you better kiss that thing goodbye because there will be no happiness left after this topic. I've talked about for a while that TikTok has rotted the minds of all of its users and convinced them that they're the main characters of the entire world, and everything that happens around them is just a prop that they can use to get views and clout on TikTok. And today I learned about an absolute piece of shit named Alex Bodger. Alex Bodger pulled a Logan Paul. You remember when Logan Paul filmed the dead body in the Japan suicide forest and tried to use it as like the subject of his video, like, whoa, that's a dead body. He killed himself. What the fuck is this? You know, like I'm still surprised Logan Paul didn't start slapping Maverick merch on the corpse. Like he was really playing into it and using it as if it was some kind of great thing for him for views as a viral video. Well, Alex Bodger took a play out of Logan Paul's playbook, but even amplified it. So the situation was, there was an argument that happened at a Starbucks. A father had asked a stranger to stop vaping near his 3-year-old daughter. The stranger got very upset and it escalated into a murder. He stabbed the father right in front of his daughter and he bled out and died right there at the Starbucks. Taking the life of an innocent father all because he asked you to stop vaping for a minute is horrifying. What an unhinged, evil monster. It's such a trivial thing. Just, hey bud, can you just stop vaping for just a minute or two? Like, my daughter's right here and it's making us a bit uncomfortable. Like that, there was just no reason this should have ever escalated at all to begin with. Dude must have been vaping stupid juice. He threw his life away as well. He's gonna spend the rest of his life in prison for this murder, as he should. Just an awful and sad situation, and it really does blow my mind reading stories like this, where someone kills over something so small. Like, there was just no reason to even be upset in the first place that this guy asked you to stop vaping. What's the big fucking deal? Just stop vaping for a couple of minutes. It makes no fucking sense to me. Now, where does Alex Bodger come into play? Well, Alex Bodger was nearby and saw the scuffle starting, and he immediately started filming it and caught the stabbing, at least the last part of it. So he walked over to watch the guy bleed out, and as he's bleeding out, he just keeps saying, "Man just got stabbed. He's dead, bro. He's dead." And then he's getting like multiple angles, like he was trying to film a fucking 360 video of this for TikTok. He makes no attempt at all to do anything helpful to the situation, like calling authorities or anything even remotely useful to trying to help at all. It's all just about his TikTok video for him. I clearly can't show you the video, it's very bloody and very disturbing, but I'll play the audio from when he walks over, and it only gets worse from here because he continues to film and he gets more and more excited that he just filmed the man's death.
Man stabbed, bro, right here. Right here. This guy just stabbed this guy, man. This guy just stabbed him, bro. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead, bro. He's dead, bro.
After filming his passing, he then turns the camera to himself to make a, selfie vlog out of it, which is why we now have this infamous picture of Alex Bodger. He's doing, the actual Twitch pog face with the dead, bloodied body right behind him. He couldn't stop himself from smiling and pretty much giggling. He was cheering on this death like he was at a fucking sports game.
Such a chaos on yours. This motherfucker just died, bro. He just died, bro. Holy fuck.
TikTok has just created an entire generation of absolutely fucking useless losers like Alex Bodger. Does nothing to help the situation and somehow uses a tragic murder as some kind of clout goblin scheme to make a viral video out of it. Now, luckily there is still some shred of hope for at least some TikTok users, because this guy got fucking dunked on so hard he deactivated all of his shit because everyone was bullying him for being this subhuman piece of shit that he is. So that's good at least. He even went back the next day in order to smoke a cigarette where this guy had been killed. Which is some real psychopath shit. I bet this guy really thought in his little smooth brain that this instance was going to be his ticket to the big time, the big leagues, the upper echelon of TikTok fame. He would be the guy that filmed the murder. I guess.
Starbucks stabbing fam. So I'm walking down the road. I thought I see a street fight. I thought it was a street fight, right? So I start running over there. I start videotaping.
This guy actually just looks like he's cosplaying as a generic psychopath. I don't know how to explain it, but just by taking one look at him, I know he lives alone in an apartment and abuses his pets. He addresses the viewers as the Starbucks stabbing fam. I guess that's what he's trying to call his community, or lack thereof a community. It's pretty clear that he doesn't actually think this is a serious situation at all. This video is supposed to be like his defense, his side of the story, explaining it, getting to the truth of it. You've all misunderstood me, and, that kind of deal. But it's really not that at all. And at no point does he even address why he decided not to even try and help or call authorities or anything and just sit there and film. I really thought this was just going to be a standard cookie-cutter influencer apology video, complete with the fake tears true combo, but it's something very different.
And I see some blood, and so I just thought maybe there was a bloody nose or something. My brain wasn't really allowing me to believe what just happened. And I knew he was dead, but at the same time, and so this is my first time ever experiencing this, right? So my brain's just he's dead, and so I just started screaming because I don't know what the fuck else to do. The murderer is standing right there. All that's going through my head is holy fuck, I'm standing right here screaming he's dead while the murderer is right there. What if he comes at me and fucking kills me?
Oh, brother, we got it all wrong. He was afraid, clearly. The murderer was right there, and this guy was concerned that maybe the murderer would come and kill him. He was so afraid that he stood there and continued to film the whole thing, including filming the murderer, while delivering play-by-play commentary as the father died in front of him. And then still continued to sit there filming and then turning it into a selfie vlog style where he starts pogging and laughing. It looked like he really was afraid, and now he's explained it, and now it makes sense. He was like a deer in the headlights, afraid for his own life, clearly.
But I'm in so much shock, I'm just standing there doing this. And then I had what I thought was the most controversial thought of my life, which it was controversial. Where I'm gonna say Satsi Kesanias. This motherfucker, but the motherfucker just that part, that smile on my face, that was out of uncomfort. I was so uncomfortable. I didn't know what just happened. That's how I always am in uncomfortable situations. I put a little bit of a smile on my face, and
I fucking hate the way this guy talks. He is talking like he's still trying to woo TikTok girls with this shit. Absolute weirdo. He's putting that little, what's it called, vocal fry in his speech, even though I know he has a lisp and is trying extremely hard to hide it here with all of this. And he's still taking trying to make these flattering angles while talking about filming this guy dying and cheering it on. I'm surprised he didn't start sticking his tongue out and biting his bottom lip, because he even did the generic, and that kind of garbage. What an absolute fucking creepy douchebag. Now, for what it's worth, I know that for some people in a traumatic or scary situation, they cope with it with a smile or something. That's not what he did here. That's not the same response. Not only were you laughing and smiling, you turned the whole thing into a song and dance for you, for your content. You turned it into content. That's not just being uncomfortable and smiling. You literally turned the camera around to film you and the dead body like you were at a goddamn spring break concert. It's not the same. You can't even come close to making a convincing argument that, well, actually, I was just uncomfortable, which is why I was smiling and, started vlogging. It's how I deal with trauma.
I'm sorry for the people that it pissed off. I've been called by the homicide unit. I shared my grief. This shit, it doesn't faze me too much, only because I've seen I'll just say human life, to me, the way I look at it, if I don't know you is meaningless. It's meaningless. I'm just keeping it straight up, but yeah, he's dead. What can we do now?
What a totally normal person thing to say. Human life to me, if I don't know you, is meaningless. Oh, yeah, that's something not, concerning to hear at all. That's not a giant red flag. I'm also very curious where his brain was going when he said, like, it doesn't faze him too much because he's seen and then he cut himself off. Also interesting that he contradicts himself because he stated that he was, like, traumatized by the event, saying that every time he thinks about the situation, he gets a feeling in his chest of pure fear. But in this video, he's puffing out his chest and, you know, fucking spreading his lats like a bat, like he's such a big, strong man that this kind of thing doesn't faze him. So that's weird. What is it? Were you fazed by it, or does it not matter to you at all? And even in this video, said he shared his grief. Well, what grief? You already said you weren't really fazed by it, and since you didn't know the guy, his life had no meaning to you. So what the fuck are you talking about? I really feel like this guy has no actual human emotion whatsoever and is trying his best to put on some kind of show to prove he does, but it's very unsuccessful. The whole thing fucking sucks. This guy is an actual piece of shit, and it infuriated me, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Horrible, horrible situation, and that's really about it. So yeah. I went over to my family's house for dinner a couple nights ago, and my father was raving and couldn't stop talking about a case I'd never heard of that apparently is just wrapped up. The Alex Murdaugh murder case. And in fact, it extends beyond that. The entire Murdaugh family murders. This is a very high-profile case that I just hadn't heard of until my father started lecturing me on it like I had just taken a criminology course. He apparently followed every single piece of evidence that dropped. He watched every trial, everything. My dad studied the tits off of this case like he was going there to prosecute Alex Murdaugh himself. And it piqued my interest. It made me want to learn more about it. So I went to the best goddamn channel on YouTube for things like this, Legal Eagle. Legal Eagle recently made a full, beautiful breakdown going over every single piece of evidence and every single key point in the entire Murdaugh history. So I'm going to put a link to that in the description, but I just kind of wanted to share it with all of you because this is one of the more deep and disturbing cases I've learned about in quite a while. So I just wanted to share kind of the gist of it with all of you, but I highly recommend watching Legal Eagle's video on it if you want to learn the most about it and see how everything unfolded. You see the Murdaugh murders. So my dad just told me about that. I didn't know anything about it. And he was apparently embezzling money for a long time, a pathological liar, an oxy addict, and he snapped and killed his son and wife. My dad was telling me all about it, apparently. Or, not apparently, my dad was telling me all about it. Apparently, it was a wild case, and I didn't hear shit about it. Yeah, apparently the prosecutors had a video that the son had recorded that proved that Alex Murdaugh was lying about his whereabouts on the night of the murders. So I guess the story was they were killed at like the dog kennels on their property. Alex Murdaugh claimed that he wasn't there that night at the kennels, and he had like a couple alibis because they had his whole phone record. Apparently he called a ton of people to try and get a couple alibis. And eventually the prosecutors showed a video that his son had recorded literally minutes before he was murdered. His son he killed also got in a boat accident that killed a girl named Mallory Beach, and also was the only witness to his housekeeper dying, and he embezzled her life insurance. Oh, what the fuck?
Close. Los Angeles area double murder expert O.J. Simpson predicted that the Alec Murdaugh jury would acquit the Low Country lawyer of double murder. It turns out that Simpson's powers of prognostication don't really work for murders he wasn't directly involved in.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least if this guy beats this case.
So before I explain...
It's crazy. It is crazy. We have O.J. Simpson on Twitter dropping reaction videos, giving his opinion on how another murderer could potentially beat their case. That blows my mind.
Randolph Murdaugh Sr. was elected solicitor in 1920 and served until he was killed by a freight train in 1940.
Sounds like a murder. That sounds like an actual old western murder where they tied him to the train tracks. Don't know the situation, it literally just sounds like he was murdered.
Now, some people suspected that the freight train incident was a suicide because no one could figure out why Randolph's car stalled on the tracks. But Murdaugh Sr. was succeeded by his son, Randolph Murdaugh Jr., known as Buster, who held the position for 46 years
Cool
from
nickname.
1942. On 2 separate occasions, 20 years apart, he told jurors that if they didn't impose the death penalty on a criminal defendant, he would use his power as solicitor to release other rapists into the community. Yes, you heard that right.
What?
It's hard to imagine a worse thing a prosecutor could say in court, but I'm sure prosecutors have.
And he got to keep the position? He would make these threats like, okay, if he doesn't get the death penalty, 5 rapists will go into Gotham. He sounds like the Joker. What? Elected official, so he just campaigns and pays off the right people? Yeah, but I'm sure there's still systems in place where if you're threatening to release rapists out of like a grudge, you can get fired. Like you can get like taken out. Like you lose your position, I would think. Because it was the 70s. It's not like rape was cool in the 70s either. I'm sure people weren't like rallying behind him like, yeah, that's fucking Buster right there. That's how Buster plays. Get the death penalty. Or 50 rapists. Buster, release 50 rapists into the neighborhood. The guy really had rapists in the queue to join the server. Oh, you're talking about Buster still, yeah. I'm just going to take a guess that the other Murdochs didn't use the same tactic.
Alex Murdaugh, the now convicted murderer, is Randolph III's son.
All of this information is to show you that the entire Murdaugh line is fucking evil, basically. Now that you're brought up to speed on where Alex Murdaugh comes from, let's talk about his kids, because his kids are no saints. Legal Eagle goes into more detail surrounding some of these cases, but I'd just like to give you a quick breakdown. If you want more information, obviously watch his video on it. But one of Alex's sons, Buster, who is named after, of course, Buster Murdaugh, who came before him, is actually a person of interest in a 2015 death. A young man named Stephen Smith was found dumped on a Hampton County road. There wasn't a whole lot of indicators to suggest that this was a vehicle crash, and in fact was even ruled a homicide by a couple of people, most notably the county coroner. And interestingly, Buster Murdaugh is mentioned dozens of times in the investigation. Also, Alex Murdaugh and his brother Randy visited the crime scene, passing through the crime scene tape, and there were rumors that Buster Murdaugh and Stephen Smith were in some kind of relationship, and this case actually just got reopened after the entire Alex Murdaugh investigation. So that's all a bit peculiar. That doesn't seem good. Something smells very fishy over there with Buster Murdaugh, and he's not the only one. In fact, Alex Murdaugh's other son, Paul. In 2019, Paul and his friends were partying on a boat. At one point, his friends say Paul and his girlfriend got in an argument where Paul assaulted her, and then eventually the night culminated with the boat crashing, everyone surviving except one person, Mallory Beach. Paul was blamed for the death because he was fucking driving the boat. He received 2 charges, 1 boating under the influence causing great bodily harm, and 1 boating under the influence causing death. So as you can see, the Murdaugh family is known for more than just financial crimes. There's a lot of death linked to the family as well. And there's still more. There's still one that I haven't even talked about, one that happened before Alex Murdaugh killed his son and wife. In 2018, their housekeeper Gloria Satterfield allegedly tripped over one of their dogs and fell down the stairs and died at their hunting lodge. Alex Murdaugh then instructed Gloria Satterfield's sons to sue him for insurance money. However, he neglected to inform them that he had already collected on 2 settlements and basically robbed them of about $4.3 million from the insurance here. The man is just pure evil, just a shriveled, pruny, fucking ghost-looking motherfucker whose entire bloodline seems cursed and is nothing but bad news. It is disgusting.
His lawyer said he planned to sue Alex and Maggie personally, because they allegedly kept a beer refrigerator at the hunting lodge and underage kids were free to drink up. Given the scale of Alex's financial crimes, discovery of his assets would have revealed years of Murdaugh's criminality. Later that same night, Alex allegedly found Paul and Maggie dead outside the kennels at the Murdaugh's sprawling hunting estate.
I'm really trying to break this down into the most concise form possible just to convey like the general story of the situation, but again, I can't recommend checking out Legal Eagle's full video on it for the absolute best breakdown. In a nutshell, years and years and millions upon millions of dollars of stolen money and financial crimes were about to be brought to light, all of which Alex Murdaugh was panicked about. So, the main theory behind his motive for killing Paul and his wife Maggie is he needed some way of buying time to weasel his way out of this situation. I shit you not. The murder of his son, Paul, and wife Maggie, right now the leading theory is he did it for sympathy, to portray himself as a victim, and to basically just buy himself some extra time to get out of the situation because all of these financial crimes that have built up over years were about to be fucking blasted publicly. All of it was going to come to light. So that was his plan. Now, Paul was murdered before he ever stood trial for the death of Mallory Beach. But I'm getting a little ahead of the story because there was one other baffling situation that occurred involving a hired hitman that Alex himself hired to shoot and kill him so his other son could get his insurance money.
So Alex admitted to stealing from Chris and blamed his behavior on an opioid addiction. And then hours later, that same day after that conversation with Chris, Alex was shot in the head. Yes. Seriously. Does this seem like a far-fetched Netflix series yet?
So, now we're at the part that I know. Everything that preceded this, fucking wild. No clue. But now we're getting into the part that my dad was talking about, and now I'm kind of in the know on where all this goes. Chat just educated me about this, so I have the spoilers here. But I guess I won't drop the spoilers. But I see now what has happened and how things have got to this point.
Yes, but I mean, I'm okay.
Alex later admitted that he hired his cousin Eddie to shoot him.
Yep.
So Alex's remaining son Buster could
get the
collect
life
on a
insurance.
$10 million life insurance policy. But apparently cousin Eddie wasn't up to the job because the gunshot
Good picture.
wound was just
National
a glaze
Lampoon.
that temporarily blinded Alex. Eddie would also turn out to be Alex's
What the fuck?
oxycodone dealer. Alex later admitted that he stole from his law partners and clients to fund his addiction to painkillers. According to
Hold on, then my dad's calling me about the Murdoch shit that I just sent him with this. Hold on. Yeah, well, did you even know about all of the Murdoch shit with his family? Like how his son is most likely responsible for deaths as well?
Yes.
You
And his son that, like, was in the boat accident.
yeah, the boat.
Yeah, the whole deal. I mean, yeah, I know all the background of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then how he tried to set up, like, his own...
Yeah, I just got to that point. Cousin Eddie to like a hitman to shoot him for the life insurance policy for Buster.
Yeah, and then they fucked that whole thing up.
Okay, I didn't know if you knew any of that because you didn't mention it. That shit's crazy.
Well, see, that's why I haven't been playing any games. I got so into this shit. I'm like, I can't stop. It's like, see, that's why I said this is 10 times better than the goddamn O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely wild. I had no idea it was like so deep reaching.
I know. See, that's what I'm telling you. So you think it's pretty cool, right?
Well, cool is like probably a weird word to use for it, but like it's fascinating. Like it feels like it's some kind of crazy movie. Yeah, he's really into the whole Murdoch shit. He got like encyclopedic knowledge on this whole thing apparently. He didn't even mention the family stuff, so I thought that'd be news to him. Yeah, no, this whole family's rotten. Although I haven't heard anything about the mother, so maybe she didn't do anything terrible. I have no idea.
for violent schemes.
Real quick though, was his plan actually to die? Like, did Alex Murdaugh hire cousin Eddie, goofball McGee, red-blooded patriot, fucking wild maniac to come shoot him and kill him? That's wild. So his plan was actually to die. He said, come shoot me in the head. And then he survived. He's like, damn it. Time to change plan. Wow. Hey, a lot of things can be said about Alex Murdaugh, but God damn it, he gave it 110%. This man was ready to literally kill himself so that way his son could still have some fucking cheated funds. $10 million life insurance policy.
The drug dealer. The trial's biggest bombshell was an unsent Snapchat
Yes,
video
this is the one that my
recovered from
dad was
Paul's
talking
phone.
about.
Alex told police he had last seen his son and wife 90 minutes before he found their bodies. Several witnesses testified that they could hear Alex's voice in the background of the video.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Did the Snapchat video influence Alex's decision to testify on his own behalf? Almost certainly yes. The very first
Well,
thing
yeah, and I think that is very clearly his voice in the Snapchat video. Very clearly.
Alex did on the witness stand was fess up that he lied about being at the kennels. Alex admitted it was his voice on the video.
Were you in fact at the kennels at 8:44 p.m. on the night Maggie and Paul were murdered?
I was.
Did you?
So then he absolutely just admits to a lie right there. I do want to point out, this man's got some wild hair coloration here. This looks like a weird slider in a Dark Souls creator. He looks like a French fry with like some cheese sauce on the top. That shit is going hard.
You lied to Sled Agent Owen and Deputy Laura Rutland on the night of June 7th.
I did lie to them. And I'm so sorry that I did.
Other than lying to them about going to the kennel, I was very
Holy
cooperative
shit.
in every aspect of this investigation. When Alex's brother Randy overheard Alex trying to bribe a nurse to let him use her phone, he thought it was suspicious. And brother Randy called the police and the story began to unravel.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sled sketch artist and spent
Man, this guy just straight up looks evil. He looks actually soulless. Those are some hollow, empty devil eyes right there. 100%. Sometimes people just look the part.
But in an earlier interview with investigators, Alex had actually implicated his groundskeeper. He also told the jury that someone angry about the death of Mallory Beach committed the murders. These inconsistencies undermined Alex's credibility. Then there's the mess with Alex's financial crimes. The prosecution argued that Alex's financial crimes couldn't be separated from the murders because exposure of his vast financial crimes was one of the motives
speaks to his
for killing
characters.
Maggie and Paul.
Well, not only that, I imagine that also helps to demonstrate, like, make a character profile, right? I don't know if that is actually something that's usable in court, but doesn't that also serve to poke holes in the credibility since all of these financial crimes hinged on a bunch of lies and embezzlement and all of that? Or is that not allowed?
Every single one of these, you had to sit down and look someone in the eye and convince them that you were on their side when you were not.
Wow, that's hardball.
do you remember it, even one of them?
If you ask me questions, but I can't remember sitting down with Dion.
Alex's response? What I admit is I misled them. I did wrong, and that I stole their money. What Prosecutor Waters was getting at was this. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Alex Murdaugh is sitting there and looking at you in the eye to convince you of something, but you shouldn't believe him. Just look at how he lied in the past.
That's
Moreover,
strong
Alex
as fuck.
testified that all of his financial bad deeds were caused by his drug habit, which was costing him as much as $60,000 a week. As for the weapons, prosecutors said casings for bullets from a .300 Blackout rifle were found near Maggie's body. And the Murdaughs owned a rifle chambered in .300 Blackout, and the weapon is now missing. Alex also couldn't account for the clothing he was wearing on the day of the murders. His clothes had never been found. His mother's caregiver testified that after the murders, Alex tried to remind her about what he was wearing.
I guess it's easy in hindsight, but I feel like even if I was in the court as this was unfolding, the second it came to that point, both of those in conjunction, I'd be like, well, he fucking did it. What kind of coincidence is that? Oh, so they were killed with .300 Blackout rounds. Oh, you have a weapon with .300 Blackout. That's a weird coincidence. Can you bring it in so we can just make sure like everything's, all good? Oh, it's missing. Well, what happened to it? Oh, you don't know. Oh. Okay, well, what about your clothes? Can we, like the clothes you were wearing on that night, maybe they picked up some forensic evidence from the real killers. Oh, you lost your clothes. Are you telling me a burglar came in the middle of the night while you were sleeping and took the fucking clothes off your back? Even your dirty goddamn undies, he took them? Oh. Like, what the fuck? This is outrageous.
The speed of the jury's verdict, just 3 hours of deliberation
Oh,
after
nice.
a trial lasting a month and a half,
That's a gold split.
speaks volumes.
Yeah.
The day after the verdict was read, Alex Murdaugh was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences for murdering his wife and son.
Boy, oh boy, do I have some good news for you today. It's time for a little holly jolly celebration because Santa Claus came early with the gifts. This loser has finally been arrested. Now, I'm sure none of you recognize this guy. This is probably not a face any of you have seen unless you're a woman in New York, and in that case, this is probably a face that you swiped left on Tinder for. But this is the face of the man known as Penguinz0, the infamous street racer who's blown up on Instagram and YouTube over the last few months. This isn't like a really stunning revelation, he just looks like a normal asshole. It's not like some kind of big twist like it's Bruce Wayne behind the Batman mask or anything. But I actually recently talked about Squeeze because he went on Neon's stream and did his street racing stunt maneuvers and ended up getting in a hit and run live on Kick. So of course I was making fun of him and tossing tomatoes, shouting boo. I think it is so incredibly lame to do the kind of shit that Penguinz was, where he'd just go out on public roads and put everyone's lives in danger around him, just driving fast and recklessly for his content. And this is a criminal who is addicted to attention, which has to be the worst combination for a human being ever. If you are a criminal, the last thing that you would want is a lot of eyes on you. But this guy, Jiminy Christmas, he was absorbing it like a sponge in a sink. This guy was more addicted to attention than a heroin addict is to the needle. This guy couldn't get enough of it, so he took every opportunity imaginable to promote himself. So this was always inevitable. He was either going to get arrested or get himself or someone else killed. Luckily, he was arrested before the second thing happened. Now, before really diving into the weeds of the arrest here and everything around it, I want to show you a little bit more of the lore to Squeeze, so you can get a big taste of the cringe that is Penguinz.
You mix danger, but there's also other people at risk when you do that. Innocent civilians. So what do you think about the element of danger for that?
I've been doing this since like real shit since I was 9. I used to take my dad's car out and I used to just bug out. I've been doing this for so long now that I feel like I did have some professional.
This guy must have found a moron potion at some point in his life and he has not been able to break the curse. The effects still linger. He did an interview with Tommy G, a very popular video, over 8 million views here, where he's revealing some like pretty sensitive information really, all while acknowledging that he's one of the most wanted people in the area by the authorities. How stupid can you be? He's going on a press tour here to promote himself while actively engaging in illegal activity and putting himself in as many places as possible, giving authorities all the evidence they could ever require. He also has the gall to call himself a professional. He is a talented driver, no doubt, but the only thing he's a professional at is not dying. That's it. He's going out there and gambling with everyone's lives and his own, and nothing beyond that. He's not a professional at anything, he's just currently surviving. Is all.
That's how I drive. There's been incidents where I've gone out with people and they tried keeping up with me and they've crashed.
How fast do you go?
I mean, there's been a video on live where I've gone one-handed 210 miles an hour.
Filming with one hand, driving with the other, 210 miles an hour.
Yes.
That's insane. Did that scare you?
Not really, just to build up a tolerance of just speed.
Do you feel like the police watch your Instagram?
100%, they do.
Let's pop in the
100% they do, which is why I'm doing all of these interviews to help them in their pursuit. It reminds me of this classic story where the police put out a post on Facebook asking for information about a woman who was an accessory to a murder, and the woman they were looking for actually commented on the post asking about the reward money that was being offered, and so they were able to find her because of that. Squeeze and that lady are two sides of the same coin, just pure degenerate dummy. Anyway, though, he's finally been arrested after an incident that happened back in April where Squeeze allegedly made an illegal turn and proceeded to elude the police at high speeds. Then officers found videos of him committing various traffic violations throughout the tri-state area. Apparently the NYPD did a little fusion dance and a fist bump with another department, and they worked together and found Squeeze because he was wanted on other charges including burglary, theft, conspiracy, and more. I was reading a couple of other reports where he allegedly punched a 20-year-old man in a deli. So I'm not exactly sure what all went down there, but ultimately it ended with him getting arrested and the NYPD commissioner taking a victory lap here and dunking on him on Twitter by saying Penguinz is in custody thanks to New York's finest. And then he posted a picture of his Instagram with the word apprehended slapped across it there. as if it's some kind of like busted thing in Grand Theft Auto. So Antonio going from squeeze bins to squeeze mins here, being shoulder to shoulder squeezed into a cell with other dudes, hopefully. But there's no telling if he's actually going to face real prison time. It seems he's been released because after all of this, he did make an Instagram post about how he can't go live on there. So then he made a Twitch account, which I can't find. I do see a Squeeze Bins account there, but there's nothing on it, and I think that's just an impersonator trying to capitalize off of this. His original Instagram account appears to be banned, and the only one I can find is another one that appears to be an impersonator, but maybe it really is him. I have no fucking clue. I also can't help but giggle that he decided to make a Twitch account instead of a Kick account. Like, not even this blatant criminal who has already broadcast crimes on Kick wants to make an account over there and stream on purpose. He still decided to go to Twitch first and foremost. That's kind of crazy to me because Kick is the home of broadcasting illegal activity. They don't do shit about it there. They give you like a subtle thumbs up because it's driving more traffic to their site. That should be home turf for Antonio here. Squeeze Bins would be hoisted on their shoulders like a golden goose. And yet he still said, ew, I'll just go to Twitch instead. That boggles my mind a little bit. I did laugh when I read that he made a Twitch account. I wish they'd make an example out of him here. He's not like the only one doing this kind of content, the lone alpha wolf or anything here. This is a pretty popular niche of content online where people will just put on a helmet or wear some kind of mask and then just commit crimes. And like, taunt authorities driving around recklessly, endangering a bunch of innocent people's lives on the road for content and views on Instagram and YouTube and shit. He is far from the only one doing this. So I think if they would actually give a fuck here and pursue real serious charges and actual repercussions for his actions, it could help to dissuade others from pursuing this. At least I would hope. I would really like them to not play softball here and actually do something about this. He has been caught. Hand in the cookie jar here. He has all of this evidence that he himself has compiled about his crimes and how he's not remorseful and will always continue to do it, most likely. Why the fuck would you just give him a slap on the wrist? It's also more than the dangerous driving. He apparently beats people in delis, at least according to some of the reports here. Like, this is not someone that they should just be playing like patty cake with here and saying, hey, don't do it again. All right, now get out of here. Come on, scram. Like, this is something that they should be taking far, far more seriously. I really hope that his release is a temporary thing as they build up a meteor case against him, so that way he'll actually get thrown in the slammer. There's just no excuse for it at all. Just going onto public roads and compromising everyone's safety for your content, I just think it truly super sucks. And I think the fans of this kind of content are extraordinarily annoying. So there are still like Squeeze Bins enthusiasts that are losing sleep over this, thinking that he's done nothing wrong. Nobody got hurt, even though in his interview with Tommy G, he says that people have tried to emulate him and they have crashed. So people have literally gotten hurt. He also did get involved in a hit and run on stream, but whatever, I suppose. Just go ahead and ignore reality here and continue to live in fucking delusional Narnia land. But, you know, hey, they're Squeeze Bins guys. Of course they wear diapers and eat glue. Is what it is, I guess, but I'm just super happy that he's finally been arrested, and I can only hope that they do throw the book at him. So yeah, anyway, that's really about it. So yeah. I'll be honest, I don't usually cover topics like what I'm about to touch on today, because it's extremely serious. Usually the stuff I cover is things to point and laugh at, throw tomatoes at, say boo, stinky, yucky, boo. Not this. This is horrifying. It's a story I haven't seen a ton of people mention, and I myself didn't know about it until a few nights ago, where just some random chatter during stream mentioned it, and I looked it up, and the information was only a few minutes old. Like, I don't even know how that guy had access to it so quickly, unless he's like one of the chief investigators on the case that just typed it in the chat. But when I looked it up there wasn't a ton of specifics mentioned about the case, but I followed it over the last few days as more and more information has come to the public eye. It is truly evil. And to my knowledge, this is the first case where a live stream was used as an alibi in a murder case or anything of that magnitude. There of course has been cases like with Facebook live streams and even YouTube a couple times where horrible atrocities were committed live, but I think this is the only time that someone has tried to use a live stream to prove their innocence and act as a smokescreen to cover up their crimes. Now, the person I'm about to talk about hasn't been found guilty yet, but they have been charged with murder with overwhelming evidence. Extremely compelling and strong evidence. On December 18th in Ireland, a woman named Natalie McNally was stabbed to death in her own home. She was 15 weeks pregnant at the time of her death. And the person accused of the murder is a man named Stephen McCullough. He is a YouTuber as well as streamer. He mainly focused on toy reviews as far as I can tell, specifically seeming to be a big Doctor Who toy reviewer. So what happened is, on the night of Natalie McNally's murder, Stephen McCullough went live on his channel. And this live stream is still up right now. It's a 6-hour live stream. And this was crucial evidence to prove his innocence on this evening. Because how could McCullough have possibly killed someone when there's proof of him streaming from his home at the same time that the murder had taken place? So they eventually, after bringing him in initially on suspicion of being involved in this case, let him go. Because this live stream did serve as a pretty good alibi for him. Plus, this wasn't just streamed to 0 viewers, there were real sentient human beings with a pulse there to watch this stream, so should any of this information ever come to light, there would be a lot of witnesses saying, no, I was watching him stream, he was 100% at home. So that was his whole plan. And while this worked for a brief period of time getting him out of suspicion, it was an ephemeral victory because after the investigators combed through about 4,000 hours worth of CCTV footage, they kind of pinned his whole location. They got his whole itinerary here. They were able to track him around and follow him around like it was a fucking Sims character. So not only did they see him through the CCTV evidence, but they also have the account of the taxi driver. They even took notice of things like a yellow glove underneath a black glove while giving change to a bus driver. And with all of this, they had a really strong case against him being the murderer. But they still had that live stream to explain. Because again, there is a live stream that did span the entire course where all of this took place. So how the fuck does this happen? You know, is he David Copperfield? Like, what, 2 places at once? Is this some kind of prestige situation where he had like a twin or a clone of himself? The actual answer is it's far simpler than you would possibly ever think. The live stream was fake. Yes, the stream went live on his channel during this whole period of time, but it wasn't actually a live stream. It was a pre-recorded video that Stephen McCullough had recorded days prior in order to look like a live stream, to mimic a live stream, so that way it could be used as an alibi for him. And when you watch the live stream, which again is still up on his channel, there are so many alarming red flag moments throughout it, even from the get-go. So he mentions at the very beginning of this live stream that he's not going to be able to read chat for a variety of technical reasons. One of them being it would crash his computer, it'd freeze the computer, it'd ruin the whole stream because of all of these deep tech problems that he couldn't solve. Everything's gone cattywampus, so he won't be able to read your chat. More like, Doctor, who's talking? Because I can't see you, I'm not reading chat. He just keeps reiterating over and over and over again that there's going to be no chat interaction. Because obviously, since this is a pre-recorded thing, there is no chat for him to read or interact with.
Well, because this streaming software is kind of up the left, it means I can't check the live chat, which is a real shame. Can't look at the live chat for some bloody reason, because if I do, it makes the whole thing freeze and OBS just screws up.
And he just kept like explaining why he can't read chat, and then he started talking about like, well, I guess I could read it on my phone, but you know, I get addicted to TikTok when I'm on my phone, and that's a mess, so I've put my phone in timeout in another room, so I won't be reading chats there either, and that'd probably ruin my internet too anyway, so no chat tonight. You guys can talk amongst yourself. I don't even like live streamers who read chat, so no chat for me tonight. There's plenty of streamers who don't interact with chat, but to go this long and this in-depth on things that make absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever to explain why you're not going to be reading chat or reacting to donations is definitely a little odd. And there's plenty of other really alarming moments about this stream, especially looking back on it in hindsight. He keeps reiterating that he's live, you know, this is live, and he's staying inside all night. He talks about like drinking and driving, and he'd never drink and drive, which is why he's staying inside, drinking on stream live for his viewers to enjoy. He's playing GTA Vice City throughout the stream, and he's making comments about like how the police force is no longer like equipped to handle cases, and there's a rise in crime. It's in the real world he's talking about. It's all very fucking alarming stuff, but by far the scariest thing he says has to be this.
Yeah, that's physics. That's what would happen in the real world. Abso-fucking-notly. Abso-fucking-natly.
Completely out of nowhere, unprompted, he mentions someone named Natalie in a pretty menacing way. And once again, there's plenty of other things he says in here that are very scary, but I think this one is by far the worst moment. This has been 100% confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt to be a fake live stream. When authorities seized some possessions, they found the actual video itself and concluded that it was filmed on December 13th or 14th. And also, McCullough himself has confirmed that the live stream was not actually live, it was pre-recorded, but insists that he was actually just drinking by himself alone that night. He completely denies the murder and insists that someone else may have been dropped off in a taxi near his home. This is referring to the CCTV evidence that they've gathered, pinpointing all of his locations throughout the evening. There's also other awful shit here as well. McCullough stayed pretty close to Natalie McNally's parents, and in one case even left his phone over at their house in order to bug them and secretly spy on them to record their conversations to see if he was a suspect. So McCullough went to the McNally house, left his phone on record, and left, but returned 40 minutes later claiming to have forgotten it, and police were saying that this was an attempt to listen into their conversations to see if they suspected him of anything in this. I can't envision a world where Stephen McCullough is not the person who committed this crime. There is just an overwhelming amount of evidence against him. And he still doesn't have a real explanation for what the possible motive to faking the live stream would even be. Nothing that makes sense, at least. And then randomly dropping Natalie's name during it. I just cannot imagine that this man is innocent, but he hasn't been found fully guilty of being the murderer yet. But yeah, overall, a horrifying situation. I'm wishing the absolute best for the McNally family, and I'm hoping justice is served here. That's about it. So yeah. Call of Duty. It's a shit franchise with a shittier community, and now they've helped murder an innocent man. So this is a story I've been following since the first reports of a suspected death via swatting were reported on, and I'm sure some of you have already heard it by now, but it's something I want to talk about. So this sad story goes, two man-children named Vaporize and Mir Cole, and I know upon hearing these abysmal names you asked yourself, are these 8-year-olds that this story is about? No, these are not 8-year-olds that those names belong to. Those names belong to adults. And these two adults had a Call of Duty wager match for $1.50. They were really throwing the wood down that night, high stakes gambling, and they lost the match. They were on the same team and they got mad at each other and they blamed each other for the loss and they started going at it. No, my dick's 3 inches hard, so I have the bigger penis. Who cares if you have the bigger penis? A girl laughed at me once, and then eventually it escalates to the point where Vaporizer gets in contact with an even bigger virgin, the chief virgin. His name is Swatistic, and he had been known for swatting things like MLG matches and shit, just really sad, pathetic stuff. And this human catheter did an interview on YouTube talking about this. I still watched it because I wanted to hear what a swatter sounded like, and it's exactly like what you'd expect, just as pathetic as you'd imagine.
Right, do you take any responsibility for what happened?
The argument can be made that the police would have never showed up if I didn't make the call. However, I don't believe that I'm the only guilty party involved in this whole incident, considering I was contacted and, almost instructed to SWAT and taunted to SWAT. And I mean, of course, if you want to, you could say that, of course, I was involved. However, other people were involved. Yeah, the call was made by me, but as far as the whole incident, you could point the finger at numerous people.
It's amazing how you can actually hear the back acne in this kid's voice. And the way he talks, it's like he took pages right out of the Tumblr experts playbook, like the fucking incel section of Tumblr who gives advice on what to do when faced with authorities. He just, allegedly, well, I guess you could look at it that way. Well, one could say I had access to, due to multiple interpretations, there's a multitude of factors at play. I suppose you could deduce that I pushed him into the shark-infested waters, but it was the shark that killed him, not me. And it's sad that I have to compare sharks to cops, because sharks aren't even out for as much blood as cops are. But anyway, once Vaporize gets in contact with Swatistic, they attempt to dox and swat Miracle, but Miracle, in an attempt to prove that his cock is 3 inches hard, reaches out to Swatistic and says, "Here's my address, swat me, pussy boy," and here's the tweet. So he does. He swats that address. But Miracle, being the brave man he is, gives an address that isn't his, belongs to an innocent man who gets killed by the cops when they show up. In his interview with Keemstar, the kid shows no remorse at all, nor does he take any responsibility, and passes the blame off onto the other two kids. And I do agree, they have a big part to play in this. I think all three of them should have the same sentence, which is life in prison, because they contribute absolutely nothing to society. They fucking have Call of Duty wager matches for $1.50 and then kill an innocent man over it. What good do they bring to society? They're just downright sociopaths. None of them felt any empathy for what happened. It wasn't just the kid who actually called the SWAT. Miracle, the one who gave that address, was laughing about it on Twitter. Vaporizer is not to be heard from. They all deleted their accounts and shit. But I really don't think it can be that difficult to find out who these three dudes are. The fucking NSA can watch me jerk off in the middle of my kitchen through my coffee maker. How can they not find who owns these horrible Twitter accounts with these horrible fucking names? And now I'd like to talk directly to the people who say, well, it's not their fault, it's the cop who killed him's fault. No, it's definitely their fault. That wouldn't have happened if they didn't call the police. But the police are also very much to blame here. So, according to the family, what happened is the police were banging on the door, the husband opens the door and is immediately shot by a cop. Immediately shot. Why the fuck is he immediately shot? You go there because it's a reported hostage situation. I understand it's very high tension, you're nervous, you're on edge, but you knock on the door and someone opens the door. That's the expected response. Why do you panic and shoot him? It's like a pizza man going to my door because I ordered pizza. He knocks on my door, I open the door, and he fucking blasts me with a shotgun because he wasn't expecting me to open the door. What the fuck were the cops expecting? Did they think he was gonna bust through the second floor window like Action Man and land on the ground and turn himself in? Why did they freak out because he opened the door? I don't get that response at all. Everyone's like, oh, I feel so sorry for the cop. He's the real victim here. He's gonna have to live with that for the rest of his life. No, the cop is not the real fucking victim here. The real victim is the man who got killed and his family that he leaves behind now. I feel absolutely nothing for that cop except hatred. He's either A, the most untrained officer on the force, and the force benefits from him not being there, or B, just a bloodthirsty menace. Now, if it's the former, what kind of training do the SWAT go through? They're supposed to be the elite. They're supposed to be the best of the best. But apparently they're all so fucking afraid of their own shadow. What kind of training do they get? I have to know. Do they just put the fear of God in them? They train them like they're fucking dogs. If you hear a loud sound, just fucking shoot at it. You don't want to take any risks. No matter what happens, if you hear anything, if you see anything, shoot it. That's the only way to deal with problems. They just have to be so poorly trained. And the way they handle the situation after they kill the husband is just as bad. So they go there because it's a reported hostage situation. They kill the man who I guess they immediately assumed was the man who took the hostages. He opened the door, he must have the hostages. Fucking blast him, okay? He's down. Now they have the hostages left, and what do? They make the hostages walk over the corpse and then handcuff them. What fucking heroes, huh? That's how you're trained to handle a hostage situation. You handcuff the hostage after making them walk over a dead body? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. SWAT is a fucking joke. An absolute fucking joke. I made this video when the story was still fresh and all the details weren't fully out there, and now I just watched an interview with the mother of the son who was killed by the police, and she says there was no knocking on the door. He heard noises, so opened the door and was gunned down. They weren't giving him any warnings or anything, they just killed him the second he opened the door. Which doesn't exactly make it any better for the police side of the story. I'm not going to take out the part of the video with the knocking on the door portion because there still is some sources claiming they did knock on the door and then killed him when he opened it. So really neither one of them looks better for the police. Him opening the door while they, didn't give him any warnings or anything and killing him, that's just as bad. I don't know what the fuck they thought he was doing, opening the door to charge them with like riding on horseback or something. It's still a ridiculous scenario that doesn't warrant them gunning him down in any cases. Also, more breaking news as I was rendering this video out, the swatter has been arrested. Here's his picture. This is him. Looking like a man you'd find at your local card shop playing Yu-Gi-Oh! With the children. And now I'm happy to say, Tyler joins the Hall of Fame of swatters with Robert McDade and Zachary Lee, who are behind bars for many years. It's a fantastic conclusion, really. But this shouldn't be where the story ends. Miracle and Vaporize and the cop need to face repercussions for this event. This whole thing wouldn't have happened without Miracle and Vaporize coming together and forming the perfect storm of tiny penis and lack of testosterone. And if Tyler's going to jail, those two should also be going to jail. Vaporize will likely get raperized in there. And it'd be a miracle if the other guy's asshole wasn't stretched 2 feet. The cop also needs to be joining them with some more than just a paid vacation. There needs to be more done here. Justice hasn't been served entirely, but it's a great fucking start. And I just want to address this because I already know it's going to come up in the comments, people calling me just a cop hater, one of those fuck all cops kind of people. I'm not. I don't hate all cops. There's good and bad cops, I know that, but there's a lot of bad cops, a lot of them going around right now. Just take, for example, the fucking Simon Says killer from not too long ago, who just executed a man who was following his absurd instructions, making him do everything shy of an interpretive dance and write him a book report, and then he kills him. It's fucking sickening. And I think this is another example of a bad cop. I know we don't have all the details surrounding what happened here, but I don't think under any circumstances would a man opening a door warrant being gunned down in cold blood. Unless he walked out of that front door with a nuclear bomb strapped to his chest, I don't see why you executed him like that for no fucking reason with no warnings. It's just disgusting. This is a bad cop. There's a lot of bad cops, but I don't hate all cops. Obviously not all cops are bad. But yeah, I mean, that's this whole story, and I'm super glad the swatter was caught, and we can only hope that justice is served for the other 3 that were involved in this tragedy. So yeah, that's it. So yeah. There's so many things in this world that can make you frown. Undercooked meat, getting a porta potty tipped over on you while you're inside, just to name a couple. I want to give you something that can make you smile. One of those public nuisance streamers whose whole existence revolves around making everyone's lives around them worse as their content has just been arrested. 2023 has actually been a pretty solid year for streamers everyone hates getting thrown in the slammer, finally facing some real repercussions for their awful behavior and unbelievable cringe, such as the streamer Johnny Somali, who is still currently in jail in Japan right now, God bless. Now, I haven't seen a follow-up to the individual we're going to talk about right now, so I'm going to delve into fantasy like it's the fucking Magic Treehouse here. In my little headcanon fanfic, he is currently sitting in his prison cell blubbering his little eyes out like a bitch. And this clip actually makes me extremely happy. It reminds me that Christmas is right around the corner because it gets me in a joyful spirit. And just as old Saint Nicholas taught us, it's better to give than to receive. So I wanted to give you all the gift of a big ear-to-ear grin as we watch this insufferable asshole get arrested, but also what led up to it.
Hey, listen up. You look so cute and you look so delectable. I want to put you on a plate and just eat you up. How about that? What's your name, baby? I know you're sorry. You're sorry you can't get with a hunk like me. You're sorry you're stuck with a cuck that you fucking cheat on. You record videos of you sucking off other guys and he wants to see that shit. Correct me if I'm wrong.
This guy's voice sounds like someone doing an impression of a Redditor. He's got that quintessential nasally loser voice, and clearly he knows he's not actually going to end up getting this girl's number or anything like that. He's being as abrasive as possible because it's content for his stream to entertain them by just going up and harassing women as much as possible. Admittedly, this guy is also self-aware enough to recognize that he is a creep, but instead of doing anything to fix that and better himself, he's more than happy to lean into it as much as possible to become the ultimate creep. He has adopted it as his only personality trait, being a loveless, sexless loser, and tries to make a career out of it. He is actually striving to be a professional dumpster for everyone in the chat to spit in and laugh at. It is pathetic. Dude's out here more dripless than I am, by the way. He's out here rocking a yellow t-shirt, bright yellow, looking like Curious George's friend, the man in the yellow jacket. Goober's also got some of the worst posture I've ever seen in public. He's more hunched over than that iconic photo of Goatman in the forest. So I already know when he's not out in public harassing people for his stream, he's inside on the computer doom-scrolling the internet, rotting and withering away. Now, of course, I'm not usually one to criticize posture, because sometimes when I'm streaming, I get fucking hunched over and right up against the monitor too. But at least when I'm out in public, I'm self-aware enough to recognize that you gotta straighten that shit up.
And that happens regularly, right? Tell me I'm right on the money or not. Tell me, okay, listen up, baby. I'm so sorry. You know, I really tried. God damn you. Damn, her booty's so small. Fuck.
It's so cute how he also has a friend with him that's doing the same thing, but from a distance, kind of whispering it to stream, just insulting the girl for the audience. What an unbelievable power couple of fucking douchebags.
I don't want to bother you guys, I'm not trying to be creepy in any way, but can I get like one of your numbers and I'll be on my way and then we can meet up?
We're actually going to go meet our boyfriends right now. So.
Oh, so I can't take you out or do anything like that?
Yes, really quick, just stop right now.
Sorry.
Doesn't matter what you want. Do you want?
We're just, here's what we're wondering.
I'm sorry.
You're just so fucking hot.
That second encounter right there is nightmarish. This girl's walking on the street alone. Two weirdos come up to her and say, "It doesn't matter what you want." And you could see her facial expression drop, just completely sink into a panic mode. I have no doubt she expected to be attacked by them or something, and you can see she picked up the pace. Because who wouldn't? That's a fucking weird thing to have happen. That's frightening. And especially from these two guys who are just walking around, camera out, coming up to you in the middle of the night. Like, what the fuck? This whole shtick sucks. It's just going up and bothering people who are just going about their night. Just randomly coming up to women. "Hey, pardon me, toots. Unsucked penis is a disease, and I'm suffering from it. Are you the cure? You should be." Well, it's fucking dumb. And it's a lot worse than that. It's worse than just going up and doing cringy lines. It's sticking around, bothering people, and in this case, scaring a woman who's walking home alone.
Want to be my girlfriend for 5 minutes? Do you want to just kind of go on a little date?
We're gonna walk for a bit.
Okay.
Just a pinky.
Okay.
Pinky?
So you can hold my hand.
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
Hey, I'm here with my girlfriend. I'm here with my girl. Can you guys just shut the fuck up? I'm here with my girlfriend.
Okay,
Just shut the
don't
fuck
scare
up.
people.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm here with my girlfriend. You're making too much noise. Get the fuck out of here, asshole. Fucking prick. I'm so sorry, Luna.
No, this is
no.
dumb.
Please.
No.
No, I was just protecting you.
No,
I was
I don't
protecting you,
want that,
baby.
no.
Please.
Ha ha, you get it? The joke is he's just pretending to be an unhinged lunatic. I don't know why you couldn't understand the gut-busting comedy of that. I'm gonna toss a quick fun fact your way, so get ready to receive it. About a month ago, I made a video going over shitty streamers like this guy and his friend, and I'm almost 100% certain that this is the same guy that ran away when someone he was harassing finally took him up on the offer to fight. He was the guy that instigated a conflict, and then the guy he was doing it to said, "Alright, let's just settle it right now." And immediately this guy bolted off. I'm being very generous with that term. Bolted in the same way that an alcoholic zombie would stumble across the street, because this guy is not athletic at all. But he ran away as quickly as his goofy little legs could take him, and then had this brief come-to-Jesus moment where he recognized just how sad and pathetic he is. Just this impressive specimen of trash.
All right. You and me, Central Park, tomorrow. Don't be late, motherfucker.
Alright. I hope he doesn't chase me because I don't want to fight him. Am I a pussy beta? Perhaps. But I don't know.
Using all the latest and greatest in technology and summoning the world's leading forensic experts to analyze the footage here, I think we can all conclude with a high level of confidence that this guy and the guy that I've been showing you who's about to get arrested here on stream are the same person. There's just no way that this world is forsaken enough to allow two people that sound, look, and act like him and stream like him to exist at the same time. I just don't believe that. It's the same person. I'm pretty sure of it.
You love it.
You know that there's like a...
Excuse me, what's going on? What's going on? Relax. Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. What's going on? You're being placed under arrest. For what? I'll tell you in a minute. Yeah. You just want to talk? You want to run? All right, now we're going to put you on your side.
So they're arresting Carl, guys? Carl did nothing wrong?
Ah, yes, the good ending. Tugs on your heartstrings. It's a beautiful thing to witness. You love to see that. I can't imagine a more fitting conclusion here. I don't know why his buddy's saying he did nothing wrong. He immediately tried to run from the cops who were about to start talking to him. You can't do that. Like, what the fuck? I imagine they got called there for a disturbance, like, hey, there's this weirdo and his weirdo friend that keep harassing everyone nearby, so the cops are coming to tell him to, like, cut that shit out. And then Chief Goofball here immediately tries to run. Well, it's not really a run. This guy and run don't really go in the same sentence. He takes, like, two fee-fi-fo-fum steps that kind of resemble, like, speedier movement, and the cops are like, nah, putting the kibosh on this, and they just tackle him, they take him down, and then stand him back up. So, again, I don't know what the update is. I don't know if he's still in custody or what, or if there's any charges. I couldn't tell you. It just makes me happy to see that. It's just a big ol' asshole getting taken off the streets there. So, I thought that might put a smile on some of your faces. That's about it. See ya. Call me a Call of Duty minimap, because I'm putting something on your radar right now. There is a Polish game developer who is going wumbo freaky mode. Apologies in advance for my terrible pronunciation of these names. I'm a tiny reptile brain idiot that can't quite get these accurate, but anyway. The head of Spectrum Studios, his name is Jacek Pierkowski, apparently had mandatory sauna sessions where his narrative girls, as he called them, which is really cringy Discord level shit, like his little kittens, he required them to go to saunas with him naked in order to write their scripts. Obviously a very weird thing to do. That's extremely creepy shit to require your employees to accompany you nude to a sauna. That's less than professional, I'd argue, but I'm not the Better Business Bureau. I have to wonder, can you do that? Like, can you have in your contract, like, hey, if you're going to be an employee here, I need to be seeing some titties. Sign here. Every Tuesday's titty day. So if you're not going to be showing me the hunkers on Tuesday, you can hit the road, bub. Scram. That's the one stipulation. That just sounds super fucked up. But apparently that was the norm here at Spectrum Studios, so this whole situation got kind of blown up over the last few days, and I talked about it a little bit on stream, but couldn't find additional information on it, only like the very surface level stuff that came out through LinkedIn. So I'm going to show you the stream clips and then dive back in here with a more in-depth findings about this whole thing. You seen the wild Polish game dev drama? The creative director for Spectrum Studios is requiring employees to attend mandatory naked sauna sessions. Yeah, I actually made a tweet about that earlier. I'd never heard of Spectrum Studios, but now I'm very curious what they make, because this is some weird shit. It was on LinkedIn. So, here's the requirements. So just like normal stuff like providing art bible, assets, feedback. This is kind of cringe. Mentoring of Padawan. Ew. Yikes. Ugh. Tip Fedora. Epic knowledge of Unreal Engine 5. Okay, I don't remember that one either. It's just very embarrassing. But then this one. Attending sauna sessions, not negotiable. Entire team need to understand product, and it's naked sauna sessions. So on LinkedIn, got into an argument here with this potential employee. We've already exchanged a few messages in the comments here on LinkedIn, and for what you said, you consider naked sauna sessions a part of work responsibilities in your studio. I told you that's a deal breaker for me, and we've called it a day. Thanks for your offer, though. And then he goes, sure. Didn't recall your name. Is that with the team or privately? No, it's the whole team. The whole fucking football team. Honestly, I had a lot of time to prove me wrong to write a scene in a sauna without being in sauna and send it to Magda. Instead, we were wasting time on social media. My narrative girls had to go to a sauna with me and came up with an amazing script for proof of concept. Technically, it's possible to do it without, but I absolutely adore the fact that they could use their sauna experience to write awesome scenes. That guy needs to be investigated ASAP. I bet there's cameras in that sauna, at the very least. That guy's got his phone fucking perched up somewhere. So it sounds like he had his female employees go with him to the sauna, and they were nude in order to write a sauna scene. Which is, like, that's something that you see in movies and whatever. Not like that, but like going to a location to write about it. Like, I get that. But it's super different here. Obviously. Like, he's not even trying to hide it. This man's just nefarious. He's a fucking pervert. Man's a criminal. Is it even a real company? I looked him up and I can't find any of the games they've worked on. So maybe this is their first game and it's a fucking sauna simulator. I don't know. Now, believe it or not, the man, the myth, the Jelking champion himself, Jacek, stepped forward and actually created a video explaining his side of the situation on LinkedIn. It's in Polish, so I don't exactly know what he's saying, so I'm going to be relying on articles that have broken it down for me. But I would like to say that this is some of the worst framing I've ever seen for a video. He occupies like 5% of the screen, like the camera is pointed almost straight up, and he's coming in at the very bottom like fucking Skibbity Toilet here. I don't know why he wouldn't just put himself in the center. Now, the best breakdown of all of this comes from a website called GamePressure.com. This is the best one I found. And according to them, Piorkowski, our protagonist gooner here, has claimed that although visits to the sauna were indeed obligatory, there was neither a requirement to be naked in the sauna nor to be in it with the boss. But as mentioned in the article, it seems that nudity is unavoidable considering it's a fucking sauna, and that's kind of the norm when going to saunas, I suppose. I mean, you could probably take one look at me and probably speculate and accurately guess that I am not a sauna enthusiast. I don't frequent the sauna. I live in Florida. Going outside, I get that exact same fucking experience. So I'm just going to take their word that nudity is pretty common in saunas, and when I was going over this on stream, that's what stream was saying as well. So even though he's not requiring a goatsy or like a nipple inspection or something to ensure all of the employees are naked in the sauna, it is still implied by going to the sauna. At least that's my understanding of it. Now, the statement about it's also not required to be in it with your boss, I suppose he's also kind of right on, but you still accompany your narrative girls to the sauna? Like, that is clear? Like, that is actually stated? So even if it's not put, like, pinned to paper that it's a requirement to be in it with the boss, you have still been going. Like, you have still gone. So that's kind of a moot point if you ask me. The article continued to explain what the project even is that requires the sauna experience in order to be the fucking preeminent expert on it. So it's called Project Temple, a game about a young woman with a broken heart who starts trying to become a sauna master. That's such a fucking weird concept for a game. Like, how do you even make something interesting out of that? Like, striving to be a sauna master? Like, this isn't fucking Pokemon. You're not gonna be, like, collecting gym badges like a Pokemon master. To me, that sounds like a fucking snooze fest. I'm just gonna be upfront with you here, sports fans. Like, I can't even imagine what the gameplay loop would be. Like, choosing the right rocks to put on the sauna stove, choosing the correct aromatic oils to fill the atmosphere with. Like, what do you even do with that? I imagine it's gonna be the only story. Like, maybe it's a visual novel, perhaps? I don't know. If I'm being totally honest here, if I had to spitball a guess, I really feel like this whole thing from the very start was designed as some kind of evil plot from Jacek to force women to go to a sauna with him. That's really what I think. I feel like that's the whole purpose behind this project, in his eyes. Anyway, going forward, we require going to the sauna as part of getting to know the environment and research. We also hold company meetings during sauna trips. That sounds like a nightmare. That sounds fucking miserable. Mandatory sauna trips with your boss and coworkers? Like, come on. Like, Jesus Christ. However, there's no obligation to be naked in the sauna or to be in it with the boss. If someone prefers to only attend women-only sessions or use the sauna individually and come to meetings just to chat, that's also fine. As the rules of proper sauna use say, in a dry sauna with a towel or naked, in a steam sauna only naked, there is 90% humidity there, you can't cheat physics. At the company meeting, the girls were doing peeling themselves. I don't care. I wanted them to understand what kind of emotions we create. Original brief. The protagonist of Project Temple is Birdie, a woman in her 20s/30s. She had her heart broken recently and she is moving to Warsaw to find herself again. What a pretentious explanation for this absolutely ridiculous requirement of your employees. The emotions that you create in the sauna, you need the first-hand experience to write about them, huh? The only emotion that's being created there is the fucking boss, Jacek here, getting cum brain. Like, that's it. Like, giggling to himself while doing this with his hands. Finally, I get to see naked women in person, and they can't say no, because I put it in the contract. It just sounds so degenerate and weird. The article makes a mention there at the end, like, so this is the explanation for why they have to go to the sauna, because they need the experience to write about it. And the article says, one might wonder if a developer creating a military shooter should expect their employees to, like, enlist in the army in order to get the experience of it. And the answer is a resounding, of course not. Fucking no. Like, you don't need to be going to, like, frequent sauna sessions with your coworkers in order to write about a sauna. Everyone knows what you're going to experience in there. Hot, sweaty. And now you can write about everything outside of that and all the emotional bits. Like, you don't need to actually be there physically in person in the sauna with your creepy boss diddling his skin flute in the corner while you're writing about the sauna master game. There's also an allegation that came out here I hadn't heard of till reading this article, where apparently there's another scandal here involving the head of Spectrum Studios, where he's been accused of deliberately looking for people in a, quote, difficult situation because it might be more likely to wave red flags. And another individual named Natalia Wilzinska, I'm sure I absolutely ate shit on that pronunciation, also claimed that Jacek was lurking in artist groups on Facebook asking for samples of work with naked figures, and even posted some of the screenshots onto Twitter. Another really weird component about this is that Magda name that he dropped in one of the screenshots is someone named Magdalena Kuzinti. I know I butchered that pronunciation again, I'm sorry. And apparently candidates were instructed to contact them regarding the recruitment task, but Magdalena doesn't work at the studio at all. So it turns out Jacek was one of her students in a narrative design course, and it was during the classes that Magdalena gave him advice on the project. And furthermore, I'll just read directly, Jacek directed interested individuals to her, even though she'd not yet replied to his request on the manor, since she apparently doesn't use social media. And now she has come forward about all of this, saying like, what the fuck? She goes on to explain that Jacek was just using her last name without her permission, without her being like an employee of his or anything like that. She's another person who's been harmed in this matter. This whole thing is so fucking weird. Jacek sounds like an extremely creepy individual, and I don't know how this kind of requirement to work there isn't like an illegal practice, to say that your employees have to go to these sauna sessions. But yeah, I just had to talk about this a little bit. It's so fucking weird. That's really about it. So yeah.